Hey, Nick, we need a tagline for the podcast.
No.
Real life opinions. Movie reviews told by fans and not critics.
Hey, it's ANTMAN and the WASP. How's that? No?
It's terrible. It'll totally work, though.
All right. Excellent.
Okay.
Welcome to week 36, 37.
Are we recording already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta give, like, if you're gonna do that,
Well,
you know how I try to give hand
The
signs?
producer has to tell me when to go. And besides, we can cut off anything you want. Do you want to go now? Because I can go 3, 2, and then we start right now. You want to do that again? 3, 2.
That's gone already, Mike. It's gone already.
Yeah.
Look at him just coming over here, taking over our project, doing whatever the heck he wants today. What an a-hole. Who invited him? My God.
Damn it, Laura.
Why
Technically, Corey did, but Mike's got the sound effects,
Hey,
so
man.
I'm not
Mike's
disputing this.
So that lead-in.
Get a dick. This is where I tell you to suck it.
So you're saying you don't have a dick, Mike?
Wait.
Well,
Wait. So Mike's on sound again today, so... Yeah.
Officer fucking me too.
We're in so much trouble.
why do we have sound effects?
Maybe lead in by not insulting the sound guy.
That was a little long. Hey, honey.
So, yeah. Anyway, so... Walter Goggins, sorry.
He is such a character. I've seen him in so many things.
And he's always such a freaking loser-ass creep, so...
Other than the one. He played like a Navy SEAL in a show, which I only seen one episode, but he's kind of cool in that one. Everything else, he's kind of a villain, doofus, whatever.
He's just got that slime ball
Yeah,
look,
right?
Like,
And the accent doesn't help. He's got that southern accent.
yeah, Southerners, you guys are slime.
You know that's not helping that, listeners.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
There goes our demographic from the south.
So, like we said, we're doing Ant-Man and the Wasp. Me and Mike are definitely opposing opinions, and Laura and Corey, you two are kind of in the middle on this one.
Yeah, I can go thin in the middle.
I
don't think Laura likes it, but...
It was...
I don't... He said... Yeah, no.
This is actually one of my favorite scenes, but anyway.
It was better than I remember it being when on a rewatch. I remember it being very forgettable and kind of boring. Like, it's got some of the same fun as the first Ant-Man, but it actually was a little bit funner. And I think me and Mike hate it, or disagree for the same reason. Because, like, I actually think it helps tie into Quantum Mania a little better than I gave it credit for. And you're just like, wow, Quantum Mania retro makes it work.
we're gonna retro what do you call that? Retro critique it. I mean, there's nothing in this that suggests there's ever going to be a Quantum Mania beyond this.
There is.
Other than they go to Quantum Mania or whatever. Other than
I was
that,
going to say the post-credits. I mean,
what's post credits? That's just Endgame. Because
That is Endgame,
There-
yeah.
I mean, if we want to critique the idea when Mom, spoiler, gets out of Quantum Mania, we spend a third of the movie. She never once brings up this Kang, this whole universe. Well, there's something I forgot to tell you. There's no mention of existence of anything in there. She helps Scott Lang go back into there so he can gather the thing to help the girl. And she doesn't mention, stay away from these monsters because they could be trouble. But never once does she mention this society of evil whatever.
okay, but you know what? In fairness to her, too, maybe she spent enough time with the Ant-Man in this one, and it's like, he's not going to listen to me anyway.
I don't know. It's still, and what? Those are one of the first lines in Quantumania. Oh, there's something I never told you. What? That there's an evil society in Quantumania that you just sent me back into there together? It's just like,
By the way, yeah.
yeah.
He wasn't going to listen to her anyway.
Well, she didn't even know. Well, I don't know. She was in Scott's mind, so if we look at the way things work in movies, she should know everything about Scott. Scott should know everything about her.
Then she should know that he's not going to listen to her.
But again, it doesn't support anything to do with Quantumania. I guess my original thing is like it doesn't unsupport it, but it certainly doesn't suggest that there's going to be anything leading into anything after this. So.
It's funny because like with the ending, and we'll get there when we get there, but it very much, in my opinion, leads into Quantumania. But at the same time, this movie, which is what it was supposed to do, very much leads into the Infinity Saga.
Yeah, absolutely. I buy into that.
They're
I mean,
shooting guns at a bug this big.
there's a whole list of short issues I got with this, but
Yeah, this is plot hole of the movie, right? Like, there's a lot.
well, the fact that she got into this WASP suit in under 3 seconds, she leaves the scene. Goggins says something, and then she's the Wasp. It's just like those suits look somewhat difficult to climb into.
They've established in the original Ant-Man movie that they take some time to like zip them up like a normal suit, right?
Stark hasn't had his time to freaking what's that nanobot everything, which I find. See, this is another issue, and it's not so much with this one; it's with all superhero movies. We're no longer watching Spider-Man or Iron Man or Ant-Man. We're watching Tony Stark, Paul Rudd, and Tom Holland. Because every character has these super magic helmets and masks that pop off in a second. And that bugs me.
That totally was the reason. It
was
to get the
notoriety,
actor's face
celebrity, and I hate that.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., I can't say with 100% factuality, but like, that was his choice, and then everyone else was like, hey.
I'm pretty sure, he admitted it.
Yeah. I think it was the producer, like Disney and whoever, Marvel.
Well,
it's like, we got to sell Stark or Robert Downey Jr. Holland is the next big thing, and Paul Rudd. I mean, we look at all these memes and all these. They pump the shit out of the actors, and I think they're trying to create stars again rather than, and that's.
There's nothing wrong with trying to create stars.
Well,
again. That is how
no,
Hollywood,
there is a problem for me because I'm a storyteller. Tell me the story, and if we're going to focus on Paul Rudd rather than Scott Lang, you're taking away from the story. And that's why I don't like... I love Christopher Reeve as Superman because nobody really had a clue who he was. I love Star Wars, the original Star Wars, because nobody had a clue who they were. I mean, and that's what I like. They're actors creating characters. They became famous actors after that.
At the same
and
token,
I appreciate that, but I don't like them bringing in big names for the sake of.
At the same token, when you talk about the hospital appearances, like the Make-A-Wishes and whatnot, when Robert Downey Jr. did do those appearances, people didn't say, oh my God, it's Robert Downey Jr. The kids were like, oh my God, it's Iron Man.
And that's a warm, fuzzy feeling, which is really kind of cool. But they had way too many cameras there, and it was way too publicized. That's my problem.
I don't know.
With
I
that.
think he did more than the cameras caught up to. So,
well, and I'm sure he was.
It's like that's the same as bashing Johnny Depp for carrying around the Jack Sparrow costume and showing up at the hospitals or Disneyland and dressing up.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's great for the kids. Like I am behind that. The kids are loving it, but it's.
No, well, what I will say is like I do agree with you to an extent because like for me like Johnny Depp he didn't actually really know about all that because the cameras weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
Those were fan photos that were taken, and he never asked permission to do it. He just show up and do it. Awesome
things like great things happen out of this, but then that is not a discussion. That has nothing to do with a movie.
No.
And I'm here to critique a movie. Not a social awareness of blah, 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 blah. I'm here to critique a movie. The movie failed because of this, that, succeeded because of that, and this.
I think you're a little off the point with the star thing, though, because, like, more stars were made than stars brought into the MCU, right? Like, Paul Rudd is one of the few stars that got a leading role. Like, Tom Holland was a nobody. Chris Hemsworth was a nobody. Chris Evans had done some stuff, but, to say that he was a leading man at that time...
No, we're not talking
like,
we're not talking about the first movies. Like I said, I loved Iron Man, and I was right behind Robert Downey Jr. getting his life back.
But the fact they became stars because these movies were popular, well, if we're still telling the same characters and we're keeping the same actors, that's not really,
We're not looking at the characters anymore. We're looking at the stars, and that is a storytelling flaw.
I think that you have a hard time looking at Chris Evans and not seeing Captain America. I really do. And yeah, I think you have a hard time
Oh,
seeing Chris Pratt.
I disagree. I've seen a lot of his movies, and I love him he has such a endearing quality when he's in different movies, and I still see Storm as much as I see Captain America. Captain America was great. Like Captain
Torch?
America's what's that?
Human
the
Torch.
Torch.
Yeah.
It's not Storm. Gender and color swap there in one fell swoop.
Right.
Wow, Disney should be calling me any moment.
Right? I mean,
He's got a job.
it's more.
But that's backwards. No, sorry, go ahead. We're changing a black person white and a female. Oh, okay, never mind.
Wow.
There goes Disney sponsorship.
Yeah.
No. He's got a point. Because generally, you go from a white male
Yeah.
to a black female. Just saying.
Now, if they would have made Agent Carter or Captain Carter or whatever the what if,
Yeah.
they would have made her a person of color, then that would have been the right direction in which they.
It would have been closer, yes.
Yeah. No, anyway, but my point is like if we're and I've spent a lot of time, especially thinking about the 80s when we had what's the next Schwarzenegger film? We didn't care about the name, we didn't care about much. We wanted to see explosions, muscles, and blah blah blah.
Yep.
Stallone, same thing. Although Stallone had a little more credibility with his first two, like
Well, that and he was a
First-
talented writer too.
yeah,
so,
yeah. But I think, if a movie comes along and we're watching Spider-Man and he takes off his masks every 7 seconds, we're now watching Tom Holland. We're not watching Peter Parker, and that's my emotional take on it. I love the fact that they're doing the kids thing, and I'm all for that. That's great, but it's as a storytelling movie type thing. If they're always focusing on Robert Downey Jr., that's what you're going to start seeing. And I think even Robert Downey Jr. Said. He made a couple quotes. He felt bad. He was doing Iron Man for so long that his acting chops were just kind of left to the side. And then he also said in that same thing, a lot of his best acting was left unnoticed because of the genre of superheroes. Which again, that ties into exactly what I'm saying. Is like they didn't focus on characters anymore. They focused on notoriety, celebrity, and money. And that's just my opinion.
So realistically, like going that way too. Same thing. Like they could have still done it without having the masks on, especially in Iron Man's case because he was always the playboy. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, not in the movies though.
Not in the movies though, but in the comics he was. So if they had have actually followed it that way, they could have done it without the mask on. His acting skills could have came in,
Yeah.
and it would have worked.
You guys are wrong about him not
Excuse
being
me?
a playboy in the movies. Like,
Especially
he
part
had-
2.
He had a character arc throughout several movies in which he was the playboy and then he settled down.
No, that was
first one-
flashback.
The first one, he was a playboy. The second one, it was all about the pots or whatever her freaking name is. And by the third one, he was devoted.
No,
He got drunk and pissed his suit in the second one. I don't know what
That's
you guys
not a
are talking
playboy.
about.
That's not a playboy.
I
That's
said drunk.
That's someone with drinking
that was a
problems.
weak attempt to try and cover the alcoholic arc that Tony Stark had in the
Well,
comics
they-
because
they-
they didn't address it.
There's an interesting thing about that because the intention is that alcohol was supposed to be the villain of that story, and I think Marvel
In the
studio-
movie?
yeah, Marvel
Oh.
the studio kind of decided, okay, we got to whitewash this a little bit, right? Like we're gonna have to, calm it down from what they actually
and-
wanted.
And again, that is, I understand it, but that annoys me. It's like we're gonna mute these characters so we can get a bigger demographic because we can do this and do that. And I think, like I read several years of Iron Man, and the biggest thing that we had was this womanizing thing and the alcoholism, and they got rid of that in the first movie. And I felt like that was like,
With him and that reporter though, that was pretty womanizing.
yeah, no, that's great. One movie, they touched on it, and then they
And one
moved on
He
it.
was still like that in the beginning of the second one a little bit. He'd much more settled down with Pepper and everything like that, and that's Hollywood being like, whoa, we need to have a love story, which, God, why
We
can't they
didn't.
move away from that, right? Like,
Exactly.
why can't we get away from this forced love story every time? But,
Because it's Disney.
well, that was before Disney, though, right? Marvel was not bought out by Disney when the original Iron Man came out.
Yeah, how
No,
many
that was
Iron Mans?
Paramount.
That was
Who made
It was still
Paramount.
Paramount, the
Yeah.
second one? Yeah.
But still,
The second one, I can't remember whether the second one happened just before the buyout or just after the buyout. Like, it was right around the era
I think it was
of.
just before.
I would guess that too. I mean, that was like, I mean, because Marvel got into that state where they made some good starters, and then they started flouncing. They weren't blockbusters weren't what they were today, and they were losing money, so they sold out to Disney. Excuse me. Ooh, sorry.
Well, it wasn't the movies that were the reason they sold out to Disney. The comic industry itself was the reason why. Because you know they went bankrupt in the late 90s, right?
Oh
guys?
yeah.
And you know the studio Blade saved Marvel Studios or saved Marvel as a whole.
Blade was amazing.
Well, they issued out the rights to Blade, and that was what got.
Well, they
them
issued
through
out the
late
rights
90s.
to everything at one point. Like Hulk was somewhere, Spider-Man was somewhere, Blade was somewhere.
Hulk is still somewhere. I think Paramount. I want to
Universal.
say.
Universal.
Universal. Okay.
And actually, it's done now. It officially has ended now. This
Yeah.
week, so
Oh,
So
okay.
Marvel
I knew
is-
it was ending.
Marvel is going to finally do something with the character, which, as long as they make him Hulk again, I'm happy for. So
Yeah, well, let's not go into peripheral disappointments.
That's why we got Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, because those are rights that nobody wanted, so nobody paid for them.
Oh, yeah.
Like they built Iron Man, the character he wasn't a Spider-Man, he wasn't a Wolverine, he wasn't even a Fantastic Four, right? Like he was lower on their.
It was interesting. They were all B-list hero type things.
Yeah.
When they came out, and then
you remember the '70s Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby Hulk
But you
series,
see,
right?
the Hulk was.
But, I mean,
is
I was
one of the
saying-
few A-list of.
But if
of
you
the
watch
Avengers.
those movies, like they made the TV show, but then they made the TV show movies within the series, and in that they had Daredevil,
Yep.
they had Thor, like it was great, like seeing it. And actually, like the actor they got to play Thor, it's funny how much stuff he's done now that people realize it's him. So
which
Oh,
one?
who was it?
the guy who played Thor in the
In the Lou
Lou Ferrigno
Ferrigno
one?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know him. I know him
you
from
ever see
different
American
movies.
Pie 2? Or American Wedding, I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
You remember the big gay dress designer guy?
Oh
Yeah, that's
yeah.
He's kind of comedic type actor.
Yeah,
He was a
that,
big.
that was a funny
Yeah.
scene in that movie.
yeah. And then I can't remember who played Daredevil now, but still, he did a really good. Like those movies were really, really, really well done for how somewhat
time.
cheesy those.
They didn't age
those
well,
were.
but in the day they did
Yeah,
well.
no, they didn't. But when you have the nostalgic soft spot, you still love them. Like it just shows how good they are. Whereas if they were bad back then, you would think they were worse now. But if they were to you great back then, they're still good now.
Okay.
We're at the scene in the schoolhouse right now, and I want your guys' opinion. I think this is kind of adorable and charming when he gets stuck as the kid size that Scott Lang does. But there's also like a
Oh yeah.
as well, right? Like it's just kind of like
The idea of the suit glitching, fine, okay, let's do that. But there's a point where they go too forced, lean into the comedy. When he's running with his oversized sweater, he didn't run like that before. I mean, I could argue the same thing, like in Shazam with Levi.
Zachary Levi.
Zachary
Yeah.
Levi.
Yeah.
He was acting more when he was Shazam. He's acting more like a 12-year-old, and the kid was acting more like an 18-year-old. And it's just like it didn't. And this is where it falls into the same thing. It's a cute scene. It fits okay into the Ant-Man ridiculous, but it's like they lean a little too hard into it.
we didn't talk about the beginning yet, have we? I hate the super dad trope. Does anyone else hate the super dad trope? Where like, oh my god, look at this! This parent has done like this amazing thing in the household where he's got the escape
The cardboard
room.
cave and
Yeah, and the paper mache ant, which I love that, right? Like I love how they show what an endearing father he is, and like it's supposed to be part of his character and his arc that he's a loving father and everything like that. But no parent does that in real life. No parent makes your frickin' staircase a slide and you go out.
I could see
no.
you doing that, Jeff. If anybody here, I could see you doing that.
He was under house arrest too, wasn't he? So,
It's very
He could have been having
justifiable.
cabin fever.
So, yeah, he was doing karaoke.
But
Which is,
with
again,
karaoke.
With himself.
with
Yeah.
himself,
Okay.
which is again something I could see you doing, Joe.
Yeah.
By yourself.
Oh my
Does he
god,
not
Jeff
have-
is Scott Lang.
okay. No, hold on. I mean, this might give you a nice warmer heart about my gruntled fucking cynical me. But Yeah, no, my son and I would do that in the basement. Like, it wasn't that grandiose or whatever.
Well-
but we had a blow up Venom puppet doll at the end, and oh yeah, crossblock, and I mean, it wasn't as grand as that, but you know, I mean,
So see, it does happen.
I guess it's not that parents don't do stuff for their kids like that, but I always hate the stereotype of the super crazy immersive parent thing. I guess like, you know, parents will play with their
are
kids.
you feeling
parents-
insecure about your fatherdom?
Jeff, are you saying that you're more like me? Instead of building a slide out of your stairs, you just give them a hamper and say, "Go at it."
Well, exactly. Like
Right.
we'll slide down the stairs here, but like it'll be like here's a pillow or some sliding receptacle.
And don't get me wrong, I've slapped in a movie. Go fucking watch this. I need to be alone. You know, with my kid. I mean, we all have moments. I think as parents, we always find those moments in our lives, and whether it's derived from guilt or wanting to be better than our dad or whatever psychological. Yeah, I've made forts with my son and crawled around at 400 freaking pounds, and you know, and I built him stupid shit and whatever, and those little moments keep me from feeling bad as I should have been more strict with him. I should have forced him to do his homework.
See, and you know, here's the thing when you think about it.
Love you,
especially
Logan.
Especially from our standpoint, Jeff. We're sitting here bitching that we wouldn't do this in the house. We're scouters. We do this shit at scouts.
Oh, there you go,
Yeah.
You just do it outside.
super dad.
Then it's okay.
No, we do it inside too. I mean, we took him to the moon inside. Like,
That was a fun sleepover.
That
That was a
was.
fun sleepover.
We're going to steal the moon.
No, they all said that when that scene came on, eh?
and then everybody promptly passed out, and Heather and I stayed up watching Despicable Me.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Despicable Me.
But Heather and I are the only two that stayed. We're adults. Everybody else was asleep.
Well, by age.
Oh, where are we in this movie here? Has she stole the building yet?
Not yet.
Okay, good, because that like my issue with this, and I'll get to them as they come along, is they
They've changed
dive
the rules.
so far outside of the plausible realm of fitting into this universe, it just destroys it for me, and that's where it pisses me off.
So, like, I have a problem with that, but for probably a different reason. I'm okay with the building shrinking down.
Oh yeah, the act of it doing it is
Wasn't that the building
fine.
right there?
Oh, so she must have already stolen
Yeah.
the building.
Already
Okay,
stole the building.
she did steal
Yeah.
the building.
Yes.
Okay, but the problem I have with it is they established in the first movie that you don't change your weight.
Density and weight.
Yeah, you don't change your density and
We
weight.
just move the molecules closer together.
So there's
Yeah.
no set of fucking wheels in the world.
Well, they broke the rules to fit the situation they need. This is your phrase. You want to say it?
Movie's
got a movie.
You know, I feel like we've stolen his phrase.
Well,
Like,
I was
I
trying to
feel
give
like
it
it's
back
been a
to
lot-
them.
I feel like it's been a lot of movies.
It's been a while since I've said
But they
it.
did it all throughout the first movie too. The cars in the pocket, the tank on the keychain. They did it all throughout the first movie too. So it's not a new.
Then you have to ignore, like, why explain that? Oh, the density and weight skills. That they should have never done
Oh,
that.
Absolutely,
Because
I
then no one
100% agree with you, Jeff.
No one would.
And that's
ever
on
question-
record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, until you edit it.
it.
Yeah.
Say, Jeff, where's the calendar and
Yeah.
a pen?
Yeah.
Like,
My
Over
problem is.
28.
If they would have never addressed it, it would have never been an issue.
Oh no, it still would have been a different issue.
Well-
like in my sense, is like you're going to bed at night, you wake up in the morning, there's a giant freaking building across the street, and then you go back to bed, you wake up the next, it's gone. Nobody reported this. It's not in the papers. It's not on social
fine.
media. I mean, it's just like, oh come on, really?
It is a clever scene where Scott goes, "Oh, I want to go back in there," and then like boop boop, and the building shrinks. Like that's
I mean, you should have it out in a desert somewhere, but they chose what, San Diego?
yeah right.
San Francisco.
Middle of San
Yeah,
San Francisco. That's
yeah.
right.
it's like the house
That's where
on-
Rice-A-Roni belongs, right?
Yeah, it's the San
That
Francisco
San
tree.
Francisco tree.
Yeah.
It's like the house on Cobalt Street. You know, it just keeps appearing, disappearing.
I don't
I-
know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh God, guys, watch Harry Potter. Jesus Christ.
I have better things to do.
I just didn't memorize it. I've seen them all.
Oh, that's where. Okay, I know what scene you're talking about. Like they're
That's
They
Order of the
actually-
Phoenix, isn't it?
in the
Yeah.
movies, no. But in the movies, they don't actually tell you what the street is. It says it in the books.
I will
Well,
say. No,
Damn
sorry.
it.
I'll let you
Anyway.
finish your
Not
finish
my
your
fault.
Potter thought.
It's not my fault.
Well, we're gonna have a thought.
I assume she's a pothead.
Whoa, whoa!
That's what they're called, aren't they?
No, they're Potterheads.
Oh,
Be a pothead
I think
today.
potheads fits better. I was gonna say the actress that plays the air quotes villain in this
The
one.
ghost, yeah.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal I've seen her in some TV series I really liked. She was in Killjoys, which is a sci-fi TV series. It was really good. It had one of the twins from either Iceman or Jimmy, and I can't remember the
Ashton.
name. Ashton something. One of them, the one twin played Jimmy Olsen in Smallville. The other twin is Iceman in the X-Men movies.
He was in The Rookie, too.
Yeah, he's all over the place. But they're identical
Ashton.
twins. Sean Astin and his brother, which they're both film stars, and
Yeah.
you don't know which one is in which movie.
Oh.
Like me.
Ashcroft? No, I didn't remember.
Anyway.
like Sean Astin, somebody different.
Sean
Astin is-
Ashton, but I think it's Ashcroft is what it is.
Yeah. But I mean, she's in. I liked her in the sci-fi stuff, and she was really good. So
You know what's funny? Being a Star Wars fan, which is a topic in its own here.
Is it Aaron Ashmore?
yeah, that's the
Ashmore,
one.
there we
Yes.
go. Anyways,
he has a twin brother
I actually
that's-
don't like sci-fi.
Really?
Another name.
What about horror sci-fi?
Well, I like Aliens, like
Yeah.
the Alien series, but that's it. So
What about something like Event Horizon or
I didn't hate it, but
Dark City?
I haven't watched it a lot. So
Sean.
Sean,
yeah, Sean is the one.
Sean, and Aaron are
Ashmore.
identical twins. Yeah.
I know the one from the X-Men movies, but I I'm assuming I probably just assumed it was the same person, right?
Well, it was
I-
long
well,
after
that's
that I probably around Killjoys that I realized what. Oh, okay.
No, like I said, he's really good in The Rookie too. Actually,
Yeah,
How do we feel about the introduction of Lawrence Fishburne in this movie?
that's
Like-
fine. I mean, it's just like it is a little bit forced, in my opinion.
There's some stuff about it where you're just like, ooh, he's evil, and
his
like, oh, he's not
de-aging
evil.
CGI is horrible.
I could get over. I could get over that. I mean, that I understand that and this was mid Marvel.
And the funny thing is, he did movies back when he was the age he was showing in the flashbacks. They could have just like used that as a basis.
Oh yeah.
But they probably did.
I don't think they did. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. He was around that age.
See,
he was supposed to be here,
You know,
so.
what makes this part so bad is they're making Michael Douglas and everybody else out to be the bad guy. When
But
They're
Hank
doing
Pym's
that-
established as an asshole, though.
Hank
And I
Pym's-
appreciate
He's not a bad
that.
guy,
Hank
but he's an
Pym's
asshole.
is an asshole.
He's not enough
But-
of an asshole for me
But-
in the movie.
I do wish he was more of an asshole, especially in the
An
third
asshole
one.
or an
Asshole.
asshole. Okay.
We're trying to keep this PG here, Laura.
Oh, I thought you were still stuck on asshole.
The thing with this is like that whole flashback with him, and it's clearly he's involved in the testing, he's involved with everything, but she loves him, she trusts him, and hates.
See, yeah, no, I don't know. It's like I back onto that is just like I wish they would have leaned into more of these dimensional tropes. Like Frank Pym, like he in the comics, he actually beat his wife at one
Yeah,
point.
he did.
And okay, do we have to go that far? Maybe not, but I think he's just kind of a grumpy, aggressive old man here. Hardly an asshole, right? I would like to have seen.
That would be why he's an ashhole and not an
Yeah.
asshole.
You can't. It's
they
it's
choose
why
not
they
to.
walked back a little bit with the Demon in the Bottle storyline in Iron Man 2, is that you can't make your protagonist that unlikable.
Yes, you
right?
can.
Well,
They chose. They wanted a bigger demographic. They wanted this. They wanted that. It's Disney, and they chose to do this to the characters, and that's fine. But
But
that,
I think they realized that with like
it's all about money.
with when Netflix did the Daredevil and all that stuff. They're like, wait a second, because we didn't think it would sell, so we didn't do it. Wait a second, Daredevil took off, so now Echo is solely Disney, and it is hard R. So
No, I
I-
disagree. It is soft R at best, I think, and it's not bad. But
and I disagree with your Daredevil comment. I think that if they had the option, like, if it wouldn't have been for the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, I think a Daredevil movie would have been made a long time ago in the MCU. Like, I think they hold Daredevil in higher esteem than, say, maybe not Doctor Strange, but definitely higher esteem than Ant-Man.
Yeah,
Like,
No, yeah.
Daredevil's a bigger character than Ant-Man, right? Like,
but I'm talking the style, right? Like the
yeah,
rating
yeah. Like, what's your
Daredevil
name?
proved that an R-rating movie could work.
works well.
No, Netflix proved.
Wow,
Not.
no.
I don't pin it on the one because we had that whole. There was a bunch of those that did really. Punisher,
Yeah.
Daredevil. What's her name?
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
They kill. I like Luke Cage
They
too.
softened up Jessica Jones too.
Yeah. And that-
There was
You could see there was more they could do,
Yeah.
but they didn't.
there
Yeah.
was a real allusion to in the Alias storyline to like rape and such like
Yeah.
that in that storyline, like some sexual stuff happened while she was under the influence of Kilgrave,
Yeah.
and they didn't really touch on any of that, and I get why they stepped back from that. That's a hard subject to touch, but like, oh man,
Well, they
it
had-
would have been so good.
Well,
I think they had a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
especially with everything that's going on in Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Well, that
lean
was
away
before
from,
Me Too, though, right?
But they're still going to lean away from a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I think Jessica Jones' season 2 was lean. They knew what they wanted to do with that. Now I wasn't big into that, but
season 2 was
season
good.
2 I wasn't the audience they were going
Yeah.
for. But they went in, and I think they knew that with the first one, so they wanted to go that route.
As great as Kristen Ritter was, Matt Smith really made the first season. So.
Oh yeah, man, we're gonna give away all our
Who's
Marvel
Matt
stuff.
Smith?
Kilgrave.
No, he wasn't.
Oh,
My God, these guys are bad with names.
Oh,
He
you
was
got-
the other
you got
Doctor
the other
Who.
Doc you got.
Oh.
Yeah, you're,
right, Doctor Who guy. Yeah,
David
Tennant.
Tennant.
right,
Tennant.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I didn't even realize till you said
And I
that.
just
Like,
all of a sudden, right as I said that, I just got Matt Smith in my head. I'm like, oh wow, no, at all.
oh, have they
No,
had
and
Matt,
see,
have they had Matt Smith in a Marvel movie yet?
no. I don't think he will.
Last thing I
He's
saw him
in.
was Genesis.
He's in Game of Thrones.
Oh, is he? Okay, I saw. He was
He's
in
the new,
Terminator
not Game
Genesis.
of. Yeah. He's the new Game of Thrones guy.
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
did see that.
He did so well in that. I just wanted to backtrack just a little bit before we go on. I think what Netflix had going was the best thing they could have done. The problem that and Disney and I don't know, I would blame Feige. Let's go with Feige on this one. Just he wanted this connected universe that everything had to be connected, where they could have left this Netflix style thing, let it run, let the adults have some fun with these characters, and let the kids have this.
Yeah, but then Netflix. Oh look, everybody likes it. Let's cancel it.
Well, that's fine, but Disney could have taken that style and not labeled it, put it under one of their subgenre names, Star, whatever,
Marvel
and
Spotlight. That's what it
what,
was under.
but and let it go.
Why, hello, James Barker. Welcome to the podcast before you leave. So
Anyway,
we're at the scene where they're talking about the undercarriage being a scam. I love that. I guess like, oh, we washed the van, Louis.
See,
Oh, we even got the undercarriage clean. Like that's a scam, dude. We live in California. I mean, it's like, I love conversations like that. I don't know why, because I guess it's a thing we can sympathize with.
see again, I agree. I think this movie, this trilogy allows that type of thing. But then Marvel saw too many people laughing. Oh, let's put it in everything. And I think there's the humor doesn't belong everywhere. In this movie, they had the room to do that.
Well, that was kind of their runway with the Ant-Man movies too. Like Ant-Man and Guardians, to a certain extent, were allowed to be the funny ones, right?
But then they tried to bleed it into everything. You know,
they did ruin Thor and to an extent Hulk with their comedy.
yeah, I agree.
But that was because Ragnarok was popular, right?
No, they ruined it with Ragnarok.
But Ragnarok was the most popular Thor movie universally.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I
And,
didn't get.
and then
it was
like
not good.
then they made the decision to make Love and Thunder, which in hindsight, I actually liked Love and Thunder when I first watched it, and then I watched it again. I was like, I was too easy on this movie. This
I watched
movie-
Ragnarok for free, and I still felt I paid too much.
I know, I agree, me too.
I didn't like Ragnarok as much as everyone did when I first watched it, and I like Love and Thunder more than everyone else did when I first watched that one. And I'm like,
I think I could have dealt with Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, I actually really liked.
it had bad pacing.
It did, but I refused to watch Love and Thunder. I have not watched
Ragnarok was literally the end of the end for me. Like they took a character that didn't need to be
That
deconstructed that
yeah.
bad, and then it's just like, okay.
And the thing is, they did a great job with that one sub story of losing his people, losing his family, and he acted his ass off, and they did such a great job. But then the the comedic side, which was just awful.
Tore away from the emotional value you wanted to have.
I have a hot take here. Maybe we should save it for a Thor movie. Are we ever gonna do a Thor movie, guys?
As long as it's the first one.
Oh.
Or Ragnarok, just not Love and Thunder.
So my favorite Thor
I like
movie
the second one.
is Dark World.
Dark World was good.
I like
Dark
that
World
too.
was universally panned as the worst Marvel
I
movie.
know, and I never understood that.
And like, it's got a boring ass.
See, I want to
villain.
find out where these people are now, and I know you guys got hate-ons for certain movies, and I'm trying to figure out where this drives from. And I get, I don't like this and that, and I don't like whatever, but there seems to be this. It's like conservatives that hate Trudeau.
Okay, we got to take one moment to stop and talk about how
Appreciate Louis' narration.
Yeah, it's like the true serum scene. Like, it's not true serum. It'll just convince you to say all the things you say without lying. But that's true serum, buddy. And then like this whole rant is amazing about how he goes through Scott Lang's life.
And he's narrating, their voice, like the actors are actually mouthing it, but it's still his voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the bad guys are just like, get to the point. The whole.
You know what I think of, completely off topic, but what I think of with that scene is Chunk getting interrogated in the Goonies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's like the superhero equivalent of Chunk. Oh, I can't believe you spit like that, and they all like go.
I like Michael Pena. I only have one little flaw against him, and I just found out like a couple years ago. He's a Scientologist.
Oh, really?
Outside of that, I really like the guy. I like his movies. He's
It
fun.
seems like a lot of actors are Scientologists.
Yeah.
I thought that was dying, like that.
I think it is dying.
So-
Well,
like
with all
it's,
the rape allegations, yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Scientology, the new Catholicism.
You know what I think? You know what I think? I think
Body break.
Well,
and we're back.
I know I feel great after that body break. How about you?
Woo, just vitalized.
Feel the burn.
Yes.
Hal and Joanne would be proud of us.
Yeah.
Proud.
Anyway,
Shrinking cars. Can we talk about shrinking cars?
When
How
they're that
fun
car
that is?
chase, yeah.
How it goes from a regular car to a Hot Wheel?
Yeah. I love the Hot
Wheel. Yeah.
Oh, and the van comes back.
What's up?
You know, from that commercial, that beloved commercial from the 90s?
That was a great commercial. Was never overused at all after that.
Was never used overall.
Yeah.
You know, Louise just, I get that he's the comic relief, but he's also the everyman as well. Is he not? Like, I've totally done the was-up joke.
The what?
What?
Was that? Oh, really? Well, yeah, because you're older. I mean, it's just like
I'm the same age as he is on the show.
Well, I know, but it's just like I hated it. I hated the dancing pug. I hated the dancing thing, and
I don't know,
but
man.
that's me.
Budweiser Super Bowl commercials were amazing.
But this is the kind of guy in real life. We all know a guy like that in real life who loves.
Yeah, his
the same
name's
kind
Jeff.
Of stuff.
I was gonna say it definitely was Jeff.
You were thinking that, right? Yeah. We call him Jeff.
And an amazing individual of high upstanding.
Well, let's not get
cultural
ridiculous.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Wow. Pep talk, much?
Yeah.
Ants.
But we can all agree the car chase with the shrinking cars.
It's a Hot Wheel.
It's Hot Wheels.
It's a Hot Wheel.
They actually have a Hot Wheel case. I mean, you can't argue
they
that.
really do.
I was actually going to say something I thought of earlier too, and I remember in the first one they made such a big deal out of Antoine, and it was such an emotional connection. And now in this movie, oh man, that seagull just goes through ants over ants over ants, and it's just like let's diminish the whole emotional connection you can have with ants now. It's like
I feel a little bad, to be honest. There, like every time one goes, oh no. And then you're gonna call Antonio Banderas because you're a badass.
Antonio Banderas, Marie Antoinette, and which was cute, but I mean, it's just like And it's not so much. I'm not bitching about it or griping about it. It's just an interesting thing because the same thing happened in Star Wars or Mandalorian. It's just like we've learned over the years that C-3PO and R2 are such heartwarming characters, and then all of a sudden we get this almost like there's this sentient quality to robots, and then in Mandalorian he just let's kill robot. Like is that not murder at that point? When do we lose the emotional connection? Is it
droids in the original Star Wars is kind of an allegory for like racism and everything like that. Like droids aren't allowed here.
Oh yeah,
and everything like that. So like
gold people, am I right?
Yeah, right. So I do believe that they are supposed to be like a little disposable in the eyes of people in the Star Wars universe, which is actually kind of on point. Which
is fine in the original and leading, but now then it becomes like it becomes a character thing at one point. Is we don't care about this one, so we can just kill him, and nobody cares.
Well, I think that's more the characters on the screen don't care, even though you're supposed to care as an audience, or like you're supposed to be indifferent because that's just the universe they live in.
And you can control human emotion.
But yeah,
one person
to me,
could
it's
care,
just
the
like
next person could care less.
Are they relevant? Do we care about them? Do they have are they allowed to vote and drive cars and drink, or are they just a soulless, empty shell of whatever? In which then R2 and C-3PO become a very different beast.
Well,
it's just a food for thought. I'm by no means making judgment as to how we have to, but it's just like an interesting thing. It's a manipulative tool by filmmakers.
Yeah, to make an inanimate object heartwarming, right?
Yeah, ants.
Yeah.
And that's the same type thing as like Antoine. We loved Antoine, but Antoine never really had any emotional whatever. It was all Scott Lang, which now that I've talked it through that route, is that kind of makes sense. Because the ant never gave us anything emotionally connective.
No,
he just did what he was told through mind control.
The ant, though, you're supposed to care for it like the way a person cares for a dog, right?
Oh, but it's not a dog.
He's your pet ant.
John Wick didn't do what he did because of an ant. Let me tell you that right now.
Who?
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, how about is cats a better description? Because like.
No, he didn't do it for a cat either.
Well, but would that be a better?
Yeah.
Here's where I'm going with this. Okay, I grew up on a farm. Dozens of cats out there right now, right?
Barn cats.
There's cats that if the coyotes get, we wouldn't even remember they existed, right?
Yep.
And there's cats that we've held funerals for. Okay, runs the gamut. We dozens upon dozens, probably hundreds of cats in my life I've seen, right? I think I've had. There's little crosses for 4 of them out at the farm. Now, why do I care so much about, like, I can name the cats. White Sox, Klingon.
Boy.
Klingon?
Klingon, yeah. Klingon used to Klingon, you have Batman and Blackie, right? I can
Oh, God, oh, man. We're going to have to delete that. Yeah, that's the point.
So it's like that. Like you have your favorites and you grow an emotional connection to. But also when there's dozens of them, there's no connection.
But are you the minority, or because I look at views through the audience, the broad spectrum of an audience. Like if we're gonna make a movie for Jeff, it'll be very different if we solely make it for you and your demographic than if we make it for me. Or
by the sounds of it, Jeff would really like cats and dogs.
Here's what I'm getting with it. Like, we all
make connections.
We have a connection to animals when there's a couple. Okay? The greater the number of animals you have, the smaller the connection into the individual. There'll be 1 or 2 that always stick. There's only 3 of them, right?
Still.
If it was like
great movie.
Name me all 101 Dalmatians.
You can't because I only name like 10 of them.
Exactly, because we only care about the 10. I bet you that if, they somehow or another didn't get to survive half of them, as long as the main ones survive, those are the ones we care about, right? And that's the way we treat animals.
Funny
that is kind of my point.
Puppy dies, they thought at first, at the beginning of 101 Dalmatians there in the cartoon, it's like, oh, we lost one. I don't think anybody batted an eyelash.
No, they didn't. Because you knew you were getting 100 more anyway, right? Like,
Yes, and that's exactly my point. We diminish the value of an unnamed one, even though it's so much more. And we pick and choose what works because it makes the story better, or more emotional or whatever. So
These TARDISes, or what are they called? Tardans? They're adorable.
did they call it a Tardan?
I think that's their name.
Oh, somebody's a Who fan.
No, they were probably called that
Those
before.
little amoeba things.
Yeah.
Oh, the amoeba things are called that. Oh, I thought you meant the okay. All
No,
right.
that's like their name, like Tardanus or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Is like their name. I heard like Micro Bear or something. Oh look, there's Stan
Oh
Lee.
God, this is so overdone.
That was the point.
Yeah.
That
I
was the
hated it. It was just like, and I'm not a.
Well, spoiler alert, it's not going to happen anymore.
I know.
point.
Well, wait a minute. We have a CGI. Blah blah blah.
You know what I would love to see? Deadpool.
I
I
read that and I'm like, yes. Or the milk carton thing.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
that-
Stan Lee on the milk carton.
Yeah.
I'd like to know. I'm excited to see what kind of a thing Deadpool is going to be because the rumors are coming out of there. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what?
And
I feel like that's going to be an awesome, amazing movie for the same reason that you dislike the new Marvel movies. Like, there's too much interconnectedness. There's too much multiverse. Yet, I still think that's going to be an awesome, terrific movie. Like, I heard they're doing Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Which was
I mean,
great
and
series.
that makes it a one-off, and that's fantastic.
But it's not a one-off. It's already proven not to be a one-off.
How is it proven?
Well,
We haven't seen it yet. Feige's still making cuts. They're going back for reshoots.
but the whole multiverse thing is already... They did it in Spider-Man Far From Home. They did it in Doctor Strange
yeah, no.
Multiverse. They did it in the Loki series. Like, so he's hopping onto the multiverse bandwagon
And that's
after it's already been done 4 times
that's-
in the MCU.
and that's
I think
fine.
it needs to end, personally, the multiverse end. Which
Absolutely.
it will once Secret War
but that's
ends,
the point.
But still.
That's the whole point. Jumping into the multiverse because nobody cares. It makes no difference. It's like we're going to go back to the future, and whatever you do doesn't matter because it's a string theory. It's not a. It doesn't affect anything else. If Deadpool 3 comes out and the rest of Marvel is affected by the events that happened in that, then it's a failure in my mind as a movie.
I think it's going to be, too. Like, I think that
How?
Deadpool, I do believe, leads directly into Secret Wars. No, the Kang Dynasty.
Well, that is where all the rumor issues is. The Disney's trying to implement all these things in the third act. Ryan Reynolds is fighting back. They've cut She-Hulk from it. They've cut this
That's
whole trilogy thing. Now these are all rumors,
the rumors galore for that movie.
and that's the problem, right?
I quite like She-Hulk, to be honest. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat online for that.
I didn't.
But,
I didn't mind it. Like
The
I
last
said,
episode was pretty bad, but it was
Yeah,
fun
it was
otherwise.
terrible.
Oh, see, I have a deep appreciation for the last episode, to be honest. Like, I guess, yes,
It was like
that's
overly
She-Hulk.
meta. I love meta, but
But
it was
that's
overly
She-Hulk. That is She-Hulk.
and again, it's like it was a wonderful series if it wasn't, as long as it's not connected to canon. And the only reason you could connect it to canon is it has some characters. Hulk was so fucking diminished and nerfed, and in every sense of the level for it, and they made it work, and that would have been great.
I get why
On its
people
own.
complain about that, but you gotta remember, he's like playing with kid gloves because he's playing with his cousin, right? Like,
Again, it's rationalizing.
there is some consistency that needs to happen.
But like I said, I like the series. It just doesn't belong in the universe.
So, knowing what we know now, back to the movie.
bad.
Oh, we're watching a movie, eh?
Weird.
Hank Pym's in the quantum zone right now looking for his wife. And why doesn't he see this freaking city? Like, all this stuff that we learn in Quantum Mania.
Oh, so you're supporting the reason one of the
Yeah, I
disconnections
will
of this movie to the.
I will support that, Mike.
Yeah, I know. It just look, that's twice now we've agreed.
I don't like it.
No, it's totally. It's just like I don't mind this in itself.
So- Corey, next time we don't pick a Marvel movie.
That might be for the best. Or be sick if we have to.
Right? Because it's not good when they agree.
See, I'll tell you this right now. There's a tension or an animosity between Jeff and I, but we share a lot of likes. I guarantee you it. I guarantee you we pick an opposite side movie, which I'll not mention, we will find similar connections or at least find a rational understanding.
Wait, some
But
of your points make sense, Mike.
Yeah.
And some of your stuff is. Some of your points are
Goes beyond you.
irrational.
they're above you.
No, sometimes you just hate on stuff for hating on stuff.
No, I don't. Like now, there's things I don't like that I hate them for subjective reasons, but I will not critique a movie or slam a movie for subjective reasons.
Oh, there's the Hot Wheels car.
And
There's
that
the Hot Wheels.
Oh,
right.
and then it got
that's one of my pet peeves.
Hot Wheel car?
No. I love the Hot Wheels stuff. I think that's great. No, and this was part of the online animosity we shared the other night. Is like I don't hate Marvel movies because they're Disney. I hate Disney because of what they did to Marvel movies. Yeah. And I can also look at Marvel movies and say there was some good stuff in this movie. Just as a whole, I didn't like it. I thought it was poorly. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna rant about that later. But that's my point.
Sometimes you call stuff that's just complete garbage. Where like I can
Like
see
what?
how it's not great.
That's the best worst movie ever. Which I have many of those in my repertoire. So
This is better than a garbage movie, but it's like there's obviously a lot of better movies out there as well, right? Like
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren's The Punisher. Really wasn't a great movie, but it was a great movie.
yeah.
I mean, but that's like, okay, let's pick a movie. Let's compare it to the worst movie we could possibly imagine. That's not fair. We got to compare it to its peers, you know? And to me, this is a low-tier Marvel movie, to me.
But saying that,
I wouldn't say low, I'd say mid.
yeah, I'd say mid-tier as well, but like the quality on average of a Marvel movie is better than a lot of series. Like if you look at the consistency of like this versus Star Wars, there is a
Why do we always end up on Star Wars or wrestling? Like serious.
Okay. That is a bad comparison because they're both so inconsistent with, in my opinion, with their continuity and flow.
I think there's
compared to
more-
Star Trek, the new Star Trek.
I think there's more consistency through the MCU than almost any other, save perhaps like the Lord of the Rings. Well, if you Lord of the Rings without the Hobbit movies, perhaps.
Yeah, because
And the Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter movies is I'm not a fan.
Not relevant to the books, but they were consistent through the years.
They had a consistent quality and like
They grew and evolved with the age that they started with. They ended. They got mature. They grew, which was such a brilliant thing on their part.
that's about the only movie series that I think you could argue has more consistency.
Outside
than
of
MCU.
one, name one that has worse consistency than this. Other than the one that you want to antagonize me with. We won't bring that in.
Star Trek.
No,
James Bond.
where's the continuity in
Have
it?
you seen some of the like
Are you comparing it to the Kirk
as a whole
version?
As a whole.
They're all so different on their own.
But there's a ebbs and flow to their consistency. Like I guess the Chris Pine ones, there's only 3 of them, so it's hard to say it as a massive.
Well, they're consistent within their world, right?
The new generation.
The next generation was consistent within itself.
The next generation movies had some pretty like Insurrection wasn't very good.
Well, no, we're not.
I quite liked.
But consistency within flow of the concept.
Yeah.
And that's where
I'm talking quality, not flow. I guess.
Okay, now you're changing again. Yeah, see, we're talking about consistency, and they nerf characters to make this happen. They push in not necessarily.
Okay, we're losing Laurie and Corey here. Okay, we're losing them here.
Well, we knew this was going to happen with a Marvel film, and we'll pick a better one next time. So, but that's fine. We needed to do this. And we needed to do it on a lower tier movie because there's no way we could have done this.
This is the most mid tier of all the mid tiers, right? Like this is mid tier.
Next time we do Love and Thunder, damn it.
Really? You want to go there?
No!
I was thinking Batman versus Superman, but hey,
No,
whatever.
I
Oh,
am sick that week.
I'm down for doing something.
So I think it needs to be
There's
done.
something I like
It does
about that
need to be done, and
Yeah.
put that to rest
I'm
Okay.
sick that
eventually.
week.
But not. We need a break from
Actually,
this.
I'm totally all for that.
Yeah.
That movie.
But it has to be the ultimate
What we're
version.
going to do is
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sick that week.
we are making a. I'm going to put this on the podcast to life right now, guys. We're doing a Jeff versus Mike one day. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
We will do that. We will need a referee,
Yeah.
and we'll
It'd be like a presidential
And
debate.
we'll need a white. We'll need a whiteboard to keep track of what we say.
An old priest and a young priest.
If you make a statement, then contradict it later on to make a different point, then So, and I'm all for that, and I think it'll be a good thing.
Well, Laura, you got to go soon.
Yes.
Let's wrap this up a little quickly here, guys. What genre is it?
Action.
Stupid. Oh, sorry.
I don't think there's a stupid...
It's comedy. It's comedy.
Really?
It's comedy with action. This of all Marvel movies, this leans harder into the comedy than the rest.
You know, she's so much older, but Michelle Pfeiffer's still so pretty.
Oh, absolutely.
And Corey, you didn't bring it up, so I'm going to. The haircuts in this movie are
Oh, right.
atrocious.
I made this joke before we got on air, and I said the real villain of this movie is not Ghost, it's not Lawrence Fishburne, it's not Michael Douglas, it's whoever the fuck cut Hope Van Dyne's hair. Yeah.
Her haircut's better in this one than the first one, though.
Well, in the first one it was awful, and then that little freaking Uma Thurman Pulp Fiction cut was horrible. Then she was like normal, and then Quantumania, what the fuck was that?
Well, yeah,
She looked like she got her hair caught in a lawnmower.
I gotta say, there's two things. There's two things that'll destroy a movie: soundtrack and hair. Yeah, you totally lose me in any movie.
Well, when all you do is focus on the hair, it's like...
Did you know she's Canadian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait. Her big break was Lost, and she didn't have a visa when that show started filming. So, like, they were just like, it was like one day before they got to fly out to Hawaii, and she's just like, still waiting for this freaking visa to get through.
Anyway,
so I say it's a comedy.
I must say, this is actually a pretty decent soundtrack for the most part.
The soundtrack's decent.
I don't remember it, which is a good thing. I don't remember any music in it, so it doesn't stand out to me, but I think it lent itself well to the film.
Yeah.
I really like the ANTMAN score, like do, 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 but it's very heist movie-ish.
That sounds
right?
like a cartoon for kids.
But that's because of the way they do have like a cartoon version, like when he's a kid.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
tired.
Oh, yeah, look at it! Look
I'm
at the
picking
smile
up
on his
that.
daughter's face.
that was frightening.
What's that?
The look on his daughter's face when he's like 80 feet tall, and she's like, "Yeah, look at Dad." Oh,
I love how Catherine Newton took over her role. She's becoming big again.
yeah.
I don't know if you ever watched Blockers, but she was...
Oh, I love that movie. That was so funny.
Blockers, but I can't remember.
It's so
it.
funny.
That
Yeah,
was
anyway,
funny. John Cena.
the main daughter is Catherine Newton.
Oh, okay.
The blonde one. Like, and then she's in this movie coming out. I can't remember now what it is, but she's starting to become big, and good for her. So I didn't think she was that good of an actress, but she's getting big, so maybe she's trying harder. So,
Laura, where do you put this movie in the video store?
Action.
Action? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go way off the board here. It's a science fiction.
no.
No.
How does that explain it?
Well, it's fiction
is.
and it's sciencey.
Yeah,
So,
it's not
there-
not, but no.
There's
Yeah.
shrinking in there. They're going into different dimensions. Like, there's a person phasing
I
in
guess I'm
and
pretty
out.
biased. I don't think science fiction until I see space, which I know is not at all the definition, so
Yeah,
that makes
no.
me wrong. But
Well, and they
it's
are
what I-
going to a different plane
Realm,
of existence. Yeah.
I
And
And
they
it's
are
not-
dealing with physics.
Yeah. The big
don't
handle
know. There's a
out
couple
of the room.
scenes in this that were pretty horrific.
shut up. Mike.
Okay,
Yeah.
Or
so
terrifying.
Action,
Yeah.
comedy, action, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, excellent.
I'd just like to point out, too, just as another irk or whatever, that this is the one time we really lean into, oh, right, he gets exhausted when he grows big at the right time. And it was just like, I knew that was going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, they should have. They didn't do it in
I get
Civil
exhausted
War.
when I get big too.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey, hey.
TMI.
You
Anyway.
gotta stop at those little blue pills, okay? Like, the blood loss is too much.
Corey, you're only supposed to take them once.
They didn't say how many.
Right. Yeah. Well, when it doesn't go down after an hour, there's a problem.
Is there though?
You're supposed to consult the doctor.
I don't know what to say. I was gonna say.
So I'm gonna go way over there. Mike, final thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Okay. Subjectively, in the sense that I like it. There was some stuff in it that I enjoyed. I think there was nothing big, profound, standing out for me. It was continuity weak. It forced things. So likability is down to a 3.5 out of 10, maybe a 4. I don't know. As far as well done and like they did what they wanted to do. And I don't like it, but again, the weakness of the continuity, the weakness of we got to make the movie. We're not going to let the movie. We got to force this, force that. The acting was there. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. And that's being nice. That's trying to fight my subjective opinion. So.
He's being nicer than me.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I'll go 4 then.
You already said 5. It's on the record. 5.
I have a delete button.
So,
Laura.
Oh, sorry.
okay then.
Okay.
Laura, let's hear your final thoughts. I actually thought you liked this movie. That's why you picked it.
No, I picked it because you were supposed to be here, actually.
Well, why don't I just ruin that now, eh?
Yeah,
Right?
God damn it, Jeff.
Damn it, Jeff. So, I don't know. I'm not a fan of ANTMAN and WASP. I did not enjoy it at all. I'm actually pretty sure that, if I remember right, I got up and walked out of the theater a few times.
It's definitely not walk out of the theater.
Yeah, no, I don't think
Like-
If I get bored, I have to move. So, and they found when you walk around the theater itself. So
I could see you getting bored watching this.
I got really bored. So I can only give it a 1.5 out of 5.
Ooh.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, 3.
Out of 10,
I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to be alone.
which is 1.5 out of 5.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike's too insecure about his own thoughts to like.
You
he has
said
to join,
try
I'll go-
when you're stuck.
has to join somebody
But
else.
that's not the subjective. That is the objective.
Mike, you are allowed to have
5.
opinion on your own and be an island upon yourself, dear sir. You have.
Oh, I know, but I try not to be antagonistic towards my friends. I want to be argumentative, and
Wait
I
a
want to
minute,
be.
wait a minute.
No,
I think you need to look up antagonist.
no. Do you want me to turn off and go full Gen X? Because that will get ugly.
Full Gen X.
That will get ugly. I don't.
You never go full Gen X.
That's right.
I always go Gen X.
All right, Jeff, your turn.
My final thoughts on this movie, better than I think the masses give it credit for. Like it's definitely mid-tier of mid-tier, right? Like, but it was better done. I didn't like some of the Hope Van Dyke stuff, like when she takes over Scott's body. I thought that was a little hokey. You know, oh, we've got triangulated position and we have to get her right now. Like, you know, some of that was grown induced. And I do agree with you, Mike, with some of the retroactive stuff where, you know,
today.
why don't you mention about Kang being down there? Why don't you mention these wonders and these
By the
cities?
way, yeah. Start of
Yeah, that's a totally different subject.
Yeah.
But you know, for the most part, I really like the Scott Lang stuff himself. I like the father figure storyline in this, you know, and it was front heavy. It was front heavy on the father stuff. I really like the real life elements, like, you know, oh, I have this business in the background. I enjoyed some of the house arrest stuff. This Hope Van Dyke just being able to cure ghosts, guess, you know, that's silliness, right?
Yep.
Isn't that Janet?
No, yeah. Hope is the daughter.
Yeah.
Sorry, you
Yeah.
Janet.
Yeah.
When I said Hope, I meant Janet.
Michelle Pfeiffer, anyway.
I appreciate Evangeline Lilly more in this one than I did the first one,
In spite of her haircut.
in spite of her haircut. Mainly because the haircut was slightly better.
I didn't mind the haircut. No.
I give it a Temple of Doom, and a point and a half, maybe a quarter of a Raiders of the Lost Ark. So
Some percentages of percentages.
2.25 out of 4 Indiana Jones.
Still higher than us.
Yeah, well, I know we knew he would be. He's one of them. So
Oh, jeez.
Your turn, Corey.
a Marvel fanboy. That's all.
It's like being a pothead.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Let's
Own
get
it up,
this-
man.
I gotta touch base in this Marvel fanboy stuff for a second. If it's bad, I will call it bad. I've got no trouble not liking a Marvel movie. Like, I didn't care for Shang-Chi.
I thought that was top tier Marvel. Oh my
But
god.
they screwed that one up so bad.
Yeah, you know,
Like-
I don't understand the love for that one. I wasn't high on Ragnarok at the time. There's some certain things, and but
The soundtrack in Ragnarok was awesome.
That's because it was 80s.
Multiverse of Madness was pretty middling. But like for the most part, they have a lot of high quality stuff, and I feel like people that don't acknowledge that are just blind to see out front of past their nose. Right? That's the way I feel about that.
And just to let this go, but I think the high quality is very subjective. And that's the thing.
can be
We'll
right
leave
about
it for another day. We'll leave it for another day because that is another hour and a half we could delve into that.
When I think of high versus low quality, like I just remember the superhero movies of the 2000s, and there was such low quality back in the early 2000s, especially. Got better towards the end, but like when I think of low quality movies, I think of those.
I judge a movie off of it being a movie, and what it does within what it wants to be. And that's and I don't and as far as quality goes, you have to live by the rules and instructions of storytelling, and then you have to bend those to make the story better. And so anyway.
Your turn, Corey.
Corey,
Oh, hi.
stop this insanity of madness.
No, like we were saying, I think this is a good mid movie. It's far from the worst, and it's definitely not the best. But it was entertaining, and there was definitely some better performances than others. Like you had said, the girl who plays Ghost, she was not the problem in this movie. Yeah, she was, in my opinion, one of the lowest quality villains in the MCU, but it wasn't her fault. It was just the character. Lawrence Fishburne is always amazing. Paul Rudd is Paul Rudd. Michael Douglas is always amazing. Michelle Pfeiffer is generally amazing. It still wasn't great in the end. I say 4 out of 10.
So
Well-
it's still sitting around us.
Yeah.
I guess that's our final thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Everybody, Laura, you got to take off on us.
I do.
Bid the group adieu.
Adios.
Mike, how's your world going? How did your general meeting go yesterday?
Didn't have a general meeting yesterday. I have a general meeting on Thursday.
Oh, I thought that's what you had.
I had they're called a Hatley group. What they do for the Baileys, they come together, they interview everybody. What do you think we should do? What do you think is better? What do you think you're failing at? And then yesterday we had a full day seminar on what we think the Bailey needs to do to get better. And we talked around as the group, and they're going to assess all this information, tell us what they think we should do next, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Do you think anything good is going to come out of it?
Oh, it can. It's hard to say. Like they're gonna crunch the numbers and do the nuance and do all that stuff, and they could come back and give us this superficial thing, and it means nothing because no one's gonna change because it's the same thing that they do. Or they're gonna come back and everybody's gonna realize, oh, I never thought of it that way, and it could profoundly change the way the system goes. So it's so hard to say.
Do you think the Bailey's thriving right now, or you think it's dying?
It's holding. It has so
holding's
much.
not great.
No, it's not great. It's there. It has so much potential. We need to find younger people to be involved. We need to encourage young people to come volunteer to do front of house and watch a free show and do all this stuff. But all our money comes from 60 and older, 65 and older type people. It's a seniors
Hey,
place.
now, I've gone to plays.
Well, no, there is. Like some of the plays are getting better, but there's an age gap. We need to find a younger audience and get more diverse with what it's used for. You could go there and have a company dinner, if you have 25 people, you each throw in $25, you could rent the entire Bailey Theater with a bar.
Wow.
and just have a party. You know,
125, you say?
no, 25 people, and I think, or $25 a head, and I think 50 people, or 25, you know, and that sort of thing. And we have rental things you could do. You could even rent the rehearsal hall downstairs, but let me know because we got to clean our shit out of there. You know, and there's so much that could be done with it, and I feel like a lot of people are wishy-washy about it, and they don't want to take risks, and they don't want to branch out and try new stuff, and they don't want to lean into something that's their own. I'm trying to convince them to take the Shakespeare I want to do and make it the Bailey Shakespeare Festival. Make that and lean into it. And then every year, everybody knows we're going to have the Bailey Shakespeare Festival. We're going to perform in the park. We'll perform it there. We can do 12th Night next year. We'll do, or something else or whatever. And it would be a yearly thing. And then the Bailey has this is our fancy word for culture and whatever. And we can lean into that. And then we have the schlocky stuff and the whatever. So anyway.
Have a good one, guys. Have a good trip from Mexico, Jeff.
Thanks, Laura. See ya.
See ya. Anyway.
As Laura just said, I'm taking off.
Hey.
I'm out of here.
Eh.
After tomorrow. Flushable wipes. Do not go down the toilet. Make sure you keep heat by your water meter. That's all I gotta say. This weather's great, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, we're back to terrific weather. Corey, where can you find us?
I'm actually going to be a little bit more on the ball this week. Find us on Instagram, which would then trend to Facebook. I've got a few influencers now that have been following me on Instagram, actually, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Christy, if you're listening, hi. Again, I'm trying to dabble in X, but I'm not consistent. So if you're using that as your be all end all, don't.
Are we going to attempt YouTube?
I think we should. I think we're not going to do actual video, but we'll just have we'll just have the sound with the image, like the thumbnail.
I think we should set up a specific photo for that.
Yeah.
Like a gag photo or whatever or something.
I think you need a different photo for each one myself.
Like maybe just the movie poster.
Oh, one could. I mean, no, I'm just thinking about a generic lead into this group. You know, something like I could see me strangling you over the table and these two trying to pull me off in the front of a microphone. Or vice versa or something like that.
Huh.
Dress up as her favorite corny superheroes in like the worst version as possible. Or something along that lines.
I'll be Iron Man, you be Batman, and we'll just like...
Iron Man and Batman?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have the superhero pose.
She can be
with the superhero suit.
Laura can be a
Which one's which?
Potterhead.
And then I'll just be like a horror junkie. So
You can be Freddy Cougar, like
there
holding
you
us
go.
back,
That's
right?
So maybe that's the thing.
I do have the sweater and I have the glove somewhere. So
We all choose our favorite pop culture character.
Now we've had final thoughts. We're on to the after credits here. Now, I've mixed thoughts about this, okay?
Oh, it's dumb as shit.
Like, it kind of is a little bit, right? Like, since this came out after Infinity War, you know, you knew they had to tie somehow or another to Infinity War. So, like, there is, like, oh my god, he's freaking trapped there. But, like, I don't know.
I don't mind the connection to Infinity War. It's like they had to get rid of Thor for this movie, they had to get rid of Hulk for this movie, and they had to get rid of Ant-Man for this point.
In order to it was a money thing? Like, they just couldn't afford all those actors in one movie?
It could have been a factor, but I think that they wanted to...
Story.
Maybe. Yeah.
Story. You had too much bulk. Right?
I think Thor disappeared in the comics because he was... And they replaced him with a robot. And he got destroyed for a reason. And he took him out of that... I think it was Civil War. Maybe it was Civil War that they had to get rid of Thor.
Exactly.
Otherwise, Thor would just destroy everybody because he's that powerful.
Well,
blah, blah,
they
blah.
wanted Thor on Iron Man's side in the comic books.
Yeah.
And he would have clearly sided with Captain America, right? So,
Yeah. But anyway, in this one here is this end credits. The biggest issue I got is like they clearly didn't have an idea that they were going to Quantumania next.
Well, like Janet should have been like, no, don't fucking go into the quantum realm.
Okay, stay away from this area.
Yeah,
as if it's mapped out. Here's a map of the quantum realm. Okay, turn left at the whatever, and make sure you head straight, and don't deviate from that. And watch out for the.
Only the biggest threat to the universe ever in the entire history of time is down there.
Which
no biggie, you might actually bring him back into our world.
Yeah.
You know, heads up.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how that will play out with the whole Kang thing and Jonathan Majors. But anyway,
All right, say goodbye.
All right, enjoy everybody.
bye-bye.
Is that it?